Let me ask you a question. A potential customer visits your website. Now, what makes a difference between them buying your service or leaving your website right away? I can tell you what makes the difference. It's the call to action you use on your website. A call to action is a request to visitors to perform a specific action. This could be to download your free trial, download a demo, click on a specific link, or to just buy your product right away. Today I'm going to show you why a call to action is so important, and I will give you 13 pro tips that you can use right away to improve your conversion rate immediately. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Design with Value, where I will help you build a successful business with powerful strategies, marketing and design. My name is Oscar, pumped to hang out with you today. I hope you're well. You see them everywhere these days. In email newsletters, on TV, on websites, in apps, calls to action. Calls to action are these: buy now, read more, click here, test a free demo, all these actions you see nowadays. Calls to action are in short called CTAs. And the goal of a CTA is to move visitors further down the sales funnel and eventually make them buy your service. CTAs are one of the most important parts of any successful business. And if you leave them out or if you use them incorrectly, I have bad news for you. It can cost you millions of dollars. At the same time, if you use them in the correct way, they can be the lever to improve your conversion rates and improve your sales funnel or your growth funnel altogether. Conversion rate is the percentage of people who actually took action. So the higher the conversion rate, the better. So what's the goal of a call to action? Well, to put it simple, the goal of a call to action is to show your visitors, your customers, or your potential customers what to do next. You want to show them how they can achieve their goal. But that's easier said than done if you've not done your homework, if you're not well prepared. So what's the first step? Where do you have to start? If you've watched my other videos, you know where to start. You need to understand your personas, your customers. You need to understand what they want to achieve. And that's also the reason why you cannot just use any call to action and hope for the best. That's not going to work. You need to understand your customers. Let me give you an example. Let's say you offer a high-priced service in the B2B industry, which stands for business to business. If you have a call to action on your website that says, sign up for our newsletter, that's not going to work. Nobody's going to do that. And the reason is simple, because in the B2B industry, people most of the time want to talk to your salespeople or they want to test your service right away. But they're not going to sign up for your newsletter. It's just not going to happen. So before you create a call to action, you need to understand who you want to target. But you might say, wait a second, I have more than one target audience. How can I deal with that? Let me show you how you can do that. This is where the concept of a primary and a secondary call to action comes in. Let's say this is your website. The primary CTA is the star player, the button that stands out and encourages the most desired action, such as sign up or buy now. It should be aligned with the main goal of your website and is there to lead users to the primary goal. So it focuses on your main target audience. The secondary call to action, on the other hand, is the supporting counterpart, if you want to call it like that. It guides people through your site, even if they're not ready to buy from you yet. For example, if your primary CTA is buy now, your secondary CTA could be download a free demo or more information, just as an example. Remember to have a primary CTA on your website that leads people to the desired action, which is usually buying from you or downloading a free demo, and a secondary CTA that supports people who want to learn more but haven't made up their minds. Okay, now you know why CTAs are so important to your business success. Now I want to show you the 30 pro tips that you can use to improve your conversion rate right now. But wait a second. Before we start, and that's important to put your mind at ease, you don't have to memorize all of that. I have created a checklist with the 13 pro tips that you can download. The link is in the description below, so make sure you download your checklist right now. Here are the 13 tips. We will go through them one by one. The first pro tip is to use action words. Action words are simply there to motivate users to take a specific action. Simple as that. There are many statistics that prove that certain words can immediately increase the conversion rate of a button. That's why these words are often called trigger words or keywords. And example of trigger words are learn, start, get, contact, read, request, demo, or free. But to take this to the next level, keep this in mind. The wording of your call to action can focus specifically on the action you want your users to take. For example, if people can download a free ebook from your website, your CTA could be download the free ebook now. So always make it specific. Use instant gratification words and time-oriented wording. Instant gratification words show users that they will benefit immediately from taking the action. Examples of these instant gratification words are now, today, immediately, or in seconds. The goal of these words is to show users that they don't have to wait long to benefit from your solution. Time-based words, on the other hand, create a sense of urgency. For example, only 2 left in stock, don't miss the opportunity. All these words appeal to the fear of missing out, and they can work well as a conversion driver. For me, and this is a tip I want to give you, is to be ethical about it. Don't tell your users that there are only 2 items left in stock if it's just not true. Don't fake those scarcity elements. It's just a bad user experience and your customer relationship will suffer. Avoid generic words. Have you ever seen buttons that say like click here, send, or download, or learn more? I bet you have, because these are the most commonly used phrases for buttons. The problem is that these generic words don't tell the users what will happen next, nor what benefit they will get from clicking the button. So instead of using generic words that don't help your users, always show the benefit and what will happen next if a user clicks on it. It is better to have a longer CTA that shows the benefits rather than just using generic words. For example, download your free ebook and improve your business growth is better than just to name it download. Which brings me to the next tip. Remember this, customers don't click buttons just for fun. In fact, they always want some kind of benefit. So always remember to show customers the value they will get. So ask yourself this, what's in it for them? How does your solution solve their problem? Why should they take action? So if you already know what your customers want to achieve, if you have created your personas, this should be much easier. So think from your customer's point of view and what value they want to get. Here, I want to highlight the important difference between features and benefits. Customers buy benefits, not features. That's important to remember. A good example of this is more legroom on the plane, which is a feature, versus a more relaxed travel experience, which shows the benefit. So always show the value your customers will get when they click the button. Hey friend, we get back to the episode in just a second, but I wanted to give you a gift for hanging out with me today. I want to give you my 3 powerful worksheets for your business success. These are 3 worksheets that will help you improve your sales funnel right now. You can print them out, put them on your desk, and use them as you work on your business. It does not matter if your business is already established or if you're just starting out. You will learn the key questions to accelerate your growth. You will learn all about the different metrics you need to measure your success. You will learn how to improve those metrics, and you will learn about the different marketing channels you can use to get new customers. You will be able to take massive action towards building a business that you love. Now, these are PDFs. They are fast, they're easy. Those are not ebooks, so it won't take you a lot of time. It's more about taking action and doing the right things in the right order. So go to designwithvalue.com/gift and download your powerful worksheets right now. It's designwithvalue.com/gift. Now back to the episode. Describe what will happen. One of the worst user experiences is when people don't know what will happen when they take action. And I'm not just talking about the critical experiences, such as entering the credit card details, but also the seemingly small actions, such as clicking a button to create an account. A good example is when you want to buy something from an online store and you have a discount code that you want to apply before you buy the product. If it's not clear when you can apply your discount code, you might get lost and abandon the shopping journey altogether. So a simple note below the call to action, such as you can apply your discount code in the next step, solves this problem and creates a smooth user experience. So always remember to show the user the next steps right away. Address your users' fears and objections. When you want your users to take an action, think of it as a struggle between what they want to achieve and their fears, objections, and their doubts. On the one hand, there is a force pulling them to take the action in order to get the benefits you're promising. On the other hand, the fear of the unknown and their objections are holding them back. So, in addition to telling users what will happen next, it is important to address their fears and objections right away. So, these fears could be anything from, do I need a business address to try this demo, or will I get a bill if I buy this service, to what will happen to my data. Again, one of the best ways to solve this problem is use a helper text just below the call to action that answers the user's question right away. For example, if you have a call to action button below a form field where users enter their credit card details, mention that the data is stored and encrypted. Use your call to action multiple times. What's better than one call to action? Right, 2 calls to action. So having one call to action is great, but especially on a website where people can scroll or in apps where screen real estate is super valuable, you don't want your users to have to go all the way back to the top if they have decided to buy from you. You want them to buy where they want to buy. So the question that arises is, what is the perfect number of calls to action on a website? There is a lot of debate about this, and some research has shown that the average SaaS website uses 6 calls to action buttons on their website. Of course, this is not a strict rule or anything like that, and it may not apply to your site. So here's a cool tip, and that's also something I do. Place your CTAs wherever a user might have a mindset shift. For example, if a user is interested in your service but does not trust you yet, they will continue to scroll. But as soon as they see the testimonial section with the trust marks, a mindset shift could happen. This is your chance to use a call to action. Another example is if the user still has questions about your service and scrolls to the FAQ section. After the questions have been answered, a CTA could be valuable again. Focus on one main call to action. We have already talked about having a primary and a secondary call to action within a website. Remember, you cannot please all of your potential customers. And if you try, you will lose all of them because you will dilute your message. So I recommend focusing on your primary audience and the buying stage they are in, because these customers have the most business impact. You can still target your secondary audience or another buying stage with a secondary call to action, but make sure you focus on action that has a business impact. So focus on one main call to action. Now let's move on to the call to action design. First of all, use prominent colors. If people don't see your call to action, they will not click on it. Therefore, one of the most important things you can use to improve your conversion rate is color. You may have noticed that there are certain colors that are used more often than others. The reason for this is that studies have shown that certain colors simply work better than others. But it's not like yellow works better than orange or blue works better than green. It's more about the saturation of the color. So in general, saturated colors work better than less saturated colors. The reason is simple. People can just see them better. Of course, your colors should match your corporate identity, but make sure that they are well saturated, stand out from the background, and motivate users to take action. And here's a great way to find out if your buttons have enough contrast. You can use the squint test. The idea is this. You take a step back, squint at the website, and see if you can still see the button. Try it out. See the difference? This is how you should design your CTA. So the squint test is a cool way to quickly find out if your CTA stands out from the background. Design for color blindness. Now this pro tip is probably one of the most neglected ones, even though it can have a massive impact on your conversion rate. When designing a call to action button, one of the most important aspects is to use a prominent color. We talked about this. Many websites use orange, yellow, or bright red buttons to encourage users to take action. However, a recent study showed that 8% of men and 2% of women are colorblind. So they may not see your button the way you want them to. In the worst case, they may not find your button and leave the page, or they try your competitor's site. So simply choosing a saturated color isn't enough. A great solution to this problem is to use a color blindness tool to see if the contrast is high enough and people with a certain type of color blindness can still see the button. There are many types of color blindness other than red-green color blindness, so using this type of accessibility tool can show you which colors work well and which don't. Keep one thing in mind, and this is my pro tip from a user interface designer's point of view. Never use color alone to show important information. Often it is not possible to cover all types of color blindness, so make sure that people who cannot see the action can still understand it. For example, don't display error messages with just red text, but use an icon to indicate that this is important information. Put your call to action in prominent spots. We're making good progress here, and we only have 3 important tips left. Here is a good one. The call to action is there to show people what to do next and help them achieve their goal. But if people cannot find the action at first glance, your conversion rate will drop. So it makes sense to put it in the most prominent place. On a website, this is the above the fold area, which is the area that is visible without scrolling. Another example of a great call to action placement is within the header area of a website. When a user scrolls down, the call to action can be sticky and this way can always be in view, so users can take action when they feel ready. On mobile devices, things can get a bit trickier because of the limited screen real estate. So you need to be more sensitive about where you put your call to action to make sure that people, even with smaller devices, can still reach their goal. Use white space to your advantage. White space in design is the space between design elements. The main benefit of white space is that it helps users to focus on what's really important. White space goes hand in hand with eliminating distractions, so it can help you keep your users focused on your main call to action. And that's what you want. Design is about making people successful, so don't use random design elements like floral patterns, stuff like that to make things look fancy. No. Remove all of that. This is counterproductive. Use white space to your advantage and remove any unnecessary elements to make your call to action stand out. And we come to the last pro tip. Besides white space and saturated colors, there are other tricks that you can use to draw your customers' attention to the call to action. And one is to use graphic elements such as arrows or signs that directly point to the call to action. It also works well if you use images of people looking or pointing in the direction of your call to action, because people follow the direction of other people's eyes. To conclude this episode, make sure to download your free CTA checklist. You can find the link in the description below, and make sure to comment below which pro tip was most valuable to you and which pro tip you're going to implement next. All right. I hope this episode was valuable to you, and I'll see you in the next one real soon. Bye bye.